What's up and welcome back to another Kind of Funny Games live reaction, this time to the October 2024 Xbox Partner Preview Showcase. So many words, so many games that we are about to see. Of course, I am your host, Tim Geddes. I'm joined today by Blessing Adeoye Jr.
Good morning, Tim.
Andy Cortez.
Good morning.
And Greg Miller.
Hi, Tim. Do you want to address it right at the top, or should I?
You can.
Of course, the chat is pointing out that they watched in real time Mike get Thanos snap from the thumbnail. And so it is with a heavy heart that I regret to inform you, Snowbike Mike has left the company.
Come on.
Finally.
We will not talk about him again. This was your final opportunity. In fact, you have 30 seconds in the chat to tell me your favorite Mike memory, and then you never speak of him again. We
leave it as a $20 super chat.
Mike's sick, everybody. Mike's not feeling well,
Mike's been sick of that for a long time.
He's not here today.
Don't get me started on Blessing, who's right in there with him. Can nail all these game goddamn showdown answers.
So we're about to live react to this Xbox Partner Showcase. They've been doing a lot more of these in recent times. Blessing, what's your hype level at?
I hate answering this question. I don't know, man.
Oh
It's a
my
partner
God.
preview showcase. I'm here
God
for it.
forbid your job be have video game opinions.
Oh, man. If I say I'm a 7, people are going to be like, oh, he's fucking too
Sony
negative. If I say it's a
fanboy.
9, oh, he fucking loves Xbox more than
Say-
PlayStation.
Wearing an Xbox
I don't
shirt.
care. Yeah, I don't,
It's a 2 to a 10, Bless.
cool. I'm excited to see the Monster Hunter Wilds trailer.
Yeah.
It says 2 to a 10.
What about Alan Wake?
Sure. Yeah, I'm excited to see an Alan Wake trailer. Yeah.
I want to see Wuchang?
Wukong Fallen. Wuchang, yes.
Wuchang. That's
yeah.
I want to see Woo.
Yeah, that's like Fallen Feathers, not to be confused with Wolong Fallen Dynasty. Yeah.
Whoosh.
Or Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah.
Wuchang Fallen Feathers.
Yes.
That's the one I want.
Yeah, which is confirmed.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they've been
we'll be
tweeting
seeing
all
that.
about it.
Yeah. Greg, what about you? Anything you're excited for?
Alan Wake for sure. I mean, I think this is a muted excitement, right? Because it's a partner showcase, so we're going to see some cool games, and I like that. I like coming in and being like, all right, I'm a 6 out of 10 excited. All right, whatever.
We know but I like knowing that the format is kind of already presented to us, that we're going to get like, this is one of those presentations where I don't mind what devs talking and giving me a bunch of info about the game.
But I don't know that they're going to.
Oh, I'm thinking of developer
Direct.
Yeah,
I mean, they straight up said this one's just all games.
I'm thinking developer _ direct. That's right.
Yeah, which could still include, like, devs talking and little, like, preview trailery type things.
God
but
damn it, Cole.
I'm expecting a bit more trailers from this
Right.
than we've been getting from the director _ directs. No, that's not what it is. Developer _ directs.
Director direct.
Yeah. But yeah, 25-minute stream that we're about to get here. I feel like we know most of it. They did say there's going to be some world premieres, but not a lot of them. So some interesting things that we don't know about potentially.
Do we get Metal Gear Delta stuff?
Honestly, that's my like get hype level.
Yeah.
And I really, at this point, hope it's not this year because I just dropped it.
It can't
from my
be this
fantasy
year.
critic.
Could
I'm
you
still holding out
imagine?
hope. I'm still holding out hope.
Could you imagine they're like, oh, and it's out now? It's like, whoa, you should have let us know. I could have cleared my schedule a little bit. No, I think I would be surprised to get a date here. I think it'd be neat, but at this point, I'm expecting that at Game Awards or something. I feel like that's that level of announcement.
If we see Metal Gear Solid Delta again and don't get a release date, I'm gonna punch myself in the stomach.
I don't think there's a chance.
What if they show you Colonel Logan?
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
I want to see every part.
What if they show you the
That'd
end?
be cool.
That's my thing. Like Metal Gear Solid, this is my bias speaking because it's one of my favorite games of all time, right? I'm a Metal Gear Solid 3 sicko. You could show me fucking, I don't know, the Pain with no release date, and I'd be like, yeah, dude, we got the Pain. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
We got the end. We got the Fury.
We just need to know the date,
got the
man.
boss.
We need to know the date. I
Yeah,
love this
I don't
little
think
graphic
we
treatment.
see it ever again without a date.
I thought
Really?
that 2 times ago.
Yeah.
They keep showing it. They keep having things to show.
Hey, Cole, what's going on, buddy?
Are we going
Or
in?
hear supersonic bark from.
Borking over there.
Where is everyone? I don't know, Roger.
World premiere.
What if Mike popped up?
Hey, Slappy.
Oh my god.
Just porn. Straight up porn. Full penetration.
Here it
I
is.
keep coming back to this page. The author's clearly Wake.
Wake.
It's like he's warning us. But about what? I mean, what does it mean?
There was a crack in the lake house. The Marmots had let the lake in.
This is Agent Kieran Estevez responding to an AWA
Janina!
in the vicinity. I need to speak with the Marmons.
But the water could not flow. I became trapped, stagnant. The pressure kept building. Looking for release.
Oh man, I know. Playing as Janina? Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, nah.
Come on, Andy.
You don't need a little skinny guy.
In the lake house. All agents converge on the facility now.
That FBC office right there.
Hell yeah, the Federal Bureau.
Outside, in a forest. Not here, not here, not here.
Little brother?
What was his name? Forgot his name.
22nd.
Jesse's little brother?
Johnny?
Horror
Oh,
elements.
Dylan.
Alan Wake 2 second
Oh, no, not
expansion,
Johnny.
Lake House. Exclusively on Xbox Wire.
I'll watch you play that, Greg, for sure.
Oh, really? Okay. Come on over.
Yeah.
Can I play that without playing the other DLC?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The other DLC was like a little anthology thing.
Other DLC was fun though, Bless.
It was fun. But it was like, yeah.
But like, this is what I'm here for.
Bloober?
Maybe this one's going to be called The Large.
Tim, you still got it.
Yeah.
Yo, Queen's Gambit video game. It's happening.
Remember that shit? Xehanort.
Chess is so pretentious, I already don't like this old lady. You know what I mean? She got what she deserves.
How dare you?
It insists upon
Dying
itself.
alone in your house, having to play with this submarine man covered in blood, you got what you deserve.
Good game.
Yeah, he looks like Goo Guy from, you know the game Deadlock.
You know the game.
It's like Goo Guy.
It's me, Goo Guy.
Oh, God.
It looks like Charles Dance.
I don't know who that is.
It looks like a necromorph.
Tywin Lannister.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait for this to be a multiplayer extraction shooter.
Yeah, holy shit. Dead Space 3.
Can you imagine?
BioShock 4.
4 technically.
Oh, you're right.
Sick.
I won, and I'm old. Oh, now you're gonna kill me.
Oh no.
That looked really good.
Cronos. Like, it looked like he was gonna massage you with those fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Don't blame me. I voted for Cronos.
It looked like when they...
Yeah, the thing that you...
When you see dogs, like, licking on
Cool
him.
beans, this is gameplay.
I found
this is
one
nice.
of those in my drawer the other day, just randomly. I'll let
so
fucking
nice.
go.
I mean, it looks unbelievable. It looks so good. Ew.
Ew. 2025.
I don't like this little slit in the front.
Yeah.
He has to breathe, Andy.
Just imagine a little tongue coming out of
Double
it.
11.
They got a slow reload and a rapid reload.
One is more safe and reliable. The other one could
Blow your hand off.
The bullet shoots back at you. Fuck it up.
Looks like the Halo 1 pistol.
It does, yeah.
Is that not one of them guys from the show on Netflix?
Squid Game?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like that guy on the right has
Oh,
the
yeah.
Squid Games mask on.
Laser tag. Fire. Blindfire today on
Blindfire is a unique shooter that removes light from the equation. Find out how the project came to be exclusively on Xbox Wire.
Looks like in Batman Forever when Robin goes for a joyride in the car. Remember when he still just Dick Grayson?
Yeah.
Does Batman ever kiss the girl? Here you go, Roger.
Roger comes slinking in the room.
Oh, I thought that was Roger.
Roger's going feral.
Why is Roger Goering?
Cole says everybody's got to walk in the studio, all right? Nobody's running.
I hope
Is this going to be the Black Flag successor I've actually wanted, Roger?
They're from Madlantis. This is a silly question. I don't know if it matters. Is this canon?
Yes.
Sick.
Takes place after.
Hell yes.
But they go to a magical land. This isn't all in his head.
No, this is all in canon.
All right.
You play the other Yakuzas, right? Like they have crazy shit like this all the time.
Yeah, but it's like this crazy, not a crazy town with a ship crashed in the center of it, and it looks like Fallout.
Greg, in the last game you collected
Samoa Joe!
Yeah. You collected perverts and fought them like Pokemon.
You did. Accurate. Steam's been collecting perverts for years!
I think it was a good question, Tim, because it really feels like in the last Yakuza game, maybe this gentleman went missing for like 2 months, and this is what he was doing.
Oh! We knew it was getting too crowded in February.
Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii takes the series in a direction we never expected.
But they moved it like a week? Is that
Find out about its naval battles on Xbox Wire.
28th is getting too crowded.
Oh, I see. I missed that.
We're talking about the Fallout 76 Ghoul?
What?
No.
Was this Mouse?
I got real excited because I thought it was Cuphead.
Yeah.
A clue, a lead. What more could a mouse detective want?
Oh, this game. Yeah.
I've been waiting for this one.
Eureka! This is a real mouse changer.
We get a date?
I think so.
Oh, man.
Time to play detective and connect the dots.
This is one of those ones where it looks so cool, but I'm concerned that the gameplay.
Yeah, what it actually feel like when you play it.
This is one of those ones that looks so cool that I'm okay if the game's not great. I still want to play it.
What's up with that PI for hire? Can we move that?
Just a little, you know.
Shift that, move the mouse logo to the right.
And we're done? I'm just kidding, guys. It's only 11 minutes.
Oh, wow.
What's the stream today? Let's play some Blindfire.
Play some fucking.
I couldn't be less interested in a game.
You don't like, you don't like.
But they take the color out.
Yeah.
The lights are out.
The lights are out.
It's Batman and Robin.
It's all neon.
Does Batman ever kiss the girl?
It's like Squid
Remember?
Game and Batman.
That's not Batman, that's Batboy. Remember?
No, I do
Real
remember
quote,
it.
Batman Forever,
I do
great
remember
movie. It's boiling acid. Go watch and review, everybody. Batman Forever.
Subnautica 2.
3?
3.
Have they already done 2? I thought they did 2.
Co-op, baby.
Uh-oh. What are they running from?
There's always a bigger fish.
There it is. Saw. Watch Saw and review, everybody. Oh, it's a vagina.
It's behind me, isn't it?
Damn, it was
Wow.
The first one had to get a mod. You have to install a mod to play co-op.
Dive into uncharted
so this is like
waters
really
in
exciting.
Subnautica 2.
Just seems
Adventure
like such a
alone or
perfect
with
game for
friends
co-op.
as you
Good for
try to
those people.
survive on an all-new mysterious alien planet. Learn more exclusively.
I knew I was gonna get something.
He's got me.
Oh.
I am Shadow Donkey. Animal World is a game of many shadows. It's a game where every animal casts a shadow, and it's a game where you cast a shadow, and sometimes even the shadow of a shadow can cast a shadow.
I love donkey videos, man.
At times, you must step out of the shadows and reveal the secret which has been lurking in the shadows all along. Because if these shadows are allowed to remain within the shadows, then who knows what kind of shady shadow stuff these shadows are gonna do next in the shadows.
I've never heard this guy before. He's funny.
What we must always
he's
remember
really funny.
You ever watched
is that
Donkey?
without
Yeah, you've not seen
shadows,
Donkey?
there is
No.
no light.
My mom doesn't let me use YouTube.
Oh, he's got
These shadows
She's got the
some
parental
classics.
controls on. I can't turn them off.
We have to look into the shadow
Stuck on
of the
14
shadow of the shadow to realize the shadow of the shadow within. So basically what I'm saying, Animal Will available today on Xbox.
Oh,
Wait,
cool.
was it not on Xbox?
Wow.
No, I think it was only Steam.
Was it only Steam?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Did I play that on PC? I guess I did, yeah. Played it on Steam.
Oh
Deck.
man, we're using impact font.
あんた外の世界へ行きたいって言ってたでしょ今がその時よ
ワイズシュタイナーは俺だてめえら誰なんだよ
師匠に会って伝えなきゃいけない言葉があるんだまずは思考性を集結させるのですエデンズブリッ
Animal was on PlayStation.
オーバーヒールデストロイガンズハーベスト
Maybe catch the name of this one. Elden Zero is what I wrote down, but that's something Zero.
That's a good guess. I'd leave it there.
この広い宇宙のどこかに
Eden Zero. Eden Zero? Eden Zero. Thanks, everybody. I love putting L's in there, you know what I mean? I never take them, I just give them.
Nice, dude.
I'm on fire today.
That was a good guess. Like, multiple choice. Like, what word is in here? Eden is like, that's a good call.
Yeah, that's a good one. People in chat are like, that's a blessing game. That is not a blessing game.
Oh.
That did nothing for me.
I'm very excited for this one.
What is it?
This is the new game, Strands something.
Is this the one from
Mike Laidlaw, former Dragon Age?
Yep.
Very, sort of like the world has all this like elemental type stuff going on and everything's all reactive to each other. Strand Rising? Is that what it's called? Oh.
Death Stranding?
Hideo Kojima gonna lose that strand of Game Lord. Tim didn't like that.
Yeah, we've seen. Oh yeah.
It's gotten a couple of IGN first sort of previews.
I think this was one of the ones I was looking forward to, but I can't remember the name of it. Eternal Strands.
Eternal Strands. Yeah, very excited about this. Yellow Brick Game all bricked up.
Is that the Mike Laidlaw studio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy said that about
it. I was listening.
Yeah. That's America, chat.
I have seen the gods shatter into gilded mist.
That's Gandalf, huh?
No.
I have seen
they got him back.
Awaken. Steadfast heroes among them, and treacherous villains as well.
I love if Gandalf was just like a celebrity actor, not a person. Or like after
He no
Lord of the
longer
Rings,
gets credited.
After Lord of the Rings, he just does a bunch of other fans. It's like
and all that
what's his name? Machete, Danny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know.
They
just put him in a lot of similar shit.
What else was he in? I know him from Machete and Spy Kids.
Oh, Danny Trejo just always gets like cast as like the random, drug fucking cartel guy and a lot of other things.
But like, is he credited as Machete or?
No.
Okay. I was about to say, I was like, there's
given up
cinematic
his
universe.
name.
No, he's just very.
When he opened his taco shop, he gave up his name to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they just put him. They just kind of cast him as that one guy always.
Yeah, chat calls it out, but I always forget that he's in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, oh yeah. Cut his head off, they put it on the turtle. Tortuga.
But I have yet to see the ember that can rise against the dark.
Yeah, infecting his brain. Mistfall. That was a very flat presentation.
Mistfall Hunter crosses Souls-like and extraction games to make for something brand
Yuck.
new.
Yuck.
Ugh.
Oh,
no,
my
thank you.
Lord.
So multiplayer? Or?
Yuck! Roger, there was a breakout.
Just fucking got keywords, put them together.
I don't know if any genre has taken more of a hit this year than Extraction.
Oh yeah.
Just this. I'm not even talking about the.
Like I went to Google Trends to make your video game.
I think just like the word extraction is like.
Ghost Bike.
Oh, this looks cute.
We saw this. I forget where we saw this, but yeah, this one looks really cool.
I want to say one of the Nintendo.
Yeah, like a year ago or something.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
I like the character art.
It's giving vibes of what was the roller skating shooter game that we liked to
Roller Drum.
Roller Drum, yeah.
We don't bike in video games enough.
Downhill Domination on PS2, man.
I like that you just had that in the chamber. Right
It's
there.
just like people don't show it enough respect.
Like I like riding my bike in San Andreas.
When you were. Yeah,
You were
when you were
alone.
riding that one bike.
Dude, I fucking riding that bike, dude.
What was that one game that was kind of like problematic?
San Andreas.
Yeah.
About the end of the world where you rode around and like
Took pictures. And
Season?
yeah.
What was the studio.
The devs, yeah.
No, you're
the
right.
devs
You're
had,
right.
like
Yeah.
something happen. But I remember watching you ride that bike in that game. When I was
Dude.
watching you play it, I was like,
Oh,
man,
they
we
changed
don't,
the title.
We don't bike enough in
Wheel
games.
World.
Wheel World. Wheel World.
PMXXXX, everyone says. That's actually an amazing answer to your question.
Pre-order to get Dave Mirra as the with a stand.
Never mind, we're coming.
Is Phasmophobia? No. Well, yeah, it is.
Hello?
Phasmophobia
Yeah.
console.
Sick. That's a cool little reveal.
In real time, it cuts. The Series S has been delayed. Oh, dang. Oh.
Just in time for Halloween.
My dearest child.
Yep, I'm in.
This island
That's all we
offers
need.
everything you may need in your precious life. Vast forests, roaring rivers, and mountains of rock and ice. You are old enough now to know that for every bit of goodness in this world, an opposing
It's going to take
force
so long to
exists.
dry that guy off.
In the heat of the earth
dog?
resides a darkness you cannot fathom.
Oh!
Demons as old as time. My child.
It's just going to be that
Do not
musty
doubt.
wet dog.
Even a
Yeah.
mind like yours can be tempted by the dark. You must only choose,
Hell yeah, dude.
and that I know you will.
Is that what Moose evolves into?
Yeah, dude.
Sepe, be resilient, be resourceful.
It looks like a less
Be
good
brave, my
Kana.
son.
Yeah, it
Stay
definitely
in
looks like.
With Baboo by
But you're
your
riding
side.
a big white dog,
Yeah,
which I
no,
am
for
a
sure.
fan
Oh,
of.
for sure.
I think he's thick, you know.
The Legend of
Baboo.
Got the God of War fucking stripe on him. There was something about the character art that didn't look great.
Ramirez Argent says this looks like a Stadia game. What a specific insult. Wow.
Yeah, no matter the age, they all looked old.
Very organized.
The way that
hanging, yeah.
Well, you got minions, man.
Like we're gonna kill all these people, but like let's be demure about it.
This is definitely Wuchang.
Standing in the way of my redemption.
Yeah, hell yeah, it is. That was good. Give my blade some elemental fucking powers. It's so sick.
Well, I have the game for you. It's called Onimusha Cortex.
The problem with that game is that I rented it the same weekend that I probably rented like NCAA Game Breaker, and I was like, nah, I'm playing football, man.
You made the right choice.
I'll tell you what, man, I'm playing some football, man.
Frank
As John Green.
Yeah. This is another Chinese studio.
This is pretty sick. That's a cool enemy looking design. Holy shit. I just hope the combat's better than Black Myth Wukong. Whoa. That was awesome.
My Emperor will not fall.
Is Black Myth Wukong combat bad? No, it's just not great.
Trying to oppose fate.
That sounds like a beat. Is Black Myth Wukong combat bad? That was a good mouthfeel to that one.
It's just not great.
Is Black Myth Wukong combat bad? No, it's just not great. Is Black Myth Wukong combat bad? No, it's just not great.
How many coffees have you had this morning, Miller?
For the record, I stayed home to work on content yesterday, which meant I didn't talk to anybody except a fireman who came by.
What did you do?
Nothing. He was just like doing a door-to-door thing. A fireman came by, and then I had like a 10-minute conversation with a swim instructor.
Whoa, hold on.
Three-player co-op.
Need a new approach.
They're finally coming out with this? I thought they canceled this.
Remember, they were working on multiple multiplayer things.
And it just seemed like this 3-player co-op control game was canceled.
No, there was the one that was like not in the Control universe that they were partnered with like Tencent or some shit, I think.
No, but that's a different one. Yeah,
Okay.
I specifically remember the Control one being rumored to like, yeah, we put that on the back burner. What the hell?
That's wild they got this for the showcase.
Baby, this house is on fire.
The oldest house is on fire. So
what the fuck? It's like they just put a control skin over Warhammer Darktide.
FBC Firebreak?
Welcome to
That's
Firebreak.
awesome. Holy shit.
When a game is going for this aesthetic though, I'm just tired of it.
Learn
This,
how
like,
Remedy went about
funky,
designing
like, you know, like, I
its
just-
It's crazy that, yeah, you do that to
multiplayer
Control.
game exclusively
Yeah.
on Xbox Wire.
So it's co-op?
Yeah, 3-player co-op.
Gotcha.
Was there one more thing?
That kind of seems like the closer, right?
Yeah, you're not gonna get bigger than that on the partner showcase.
I mean, I'd prefer to just be third-person 3 Jesse Fadens flying around, you know, throwing rocks and stuff.
Oh, Firebreak confirmed for Game Pass. Wheel World. Wheel World.
I liked Ghost Spike better.
Yeah, me too.
You're welcome, everybody. That was our live reactions to the Xbox Partner Preview Showcase for October 2024. We are about to take a really quick break, and when we come back, we're going to do a kind of funny Gamescast episode breaking down everything that we just saw, so stay tuned. But until next time, I love you all. Goodbye. This episode is brought to you by New World Eternum. New World Eternum is a thrilling action RPG experience for console and PC players with a vibrant world, vast and beautiful setting, dynamic real-time action combat, and the freedom for players to choose how to forge their destiny. Combat is skill-based and dynamic, incorporating swords, guns, and sorcery so that you can build one character to rule them all as you explore Eternum and unravel the mysteries of the supernatural island that you can't leave. You love playing RPGs alone? You can in New World Eternum, or play cooperatively with your friends as you complete quests, get better gear, and level up. Greg played this at Summer Game Fest on PlayStation 5 and was caught off guard by how much he enjoyed it and how many hours he said he could see himself sinking into the final product. There's boss fights, cool enemies, crossplay, resource gathering, and crafting. So yeah, this sounds like a Greg game. New World Eternum is available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. What's up, and welcome back to the Kind of Funny Gamescast live for Thursday, October 17th, 2024. Of course, I am your host, Tim Geddes. Today, I am joined by Blessing Adeoye Jr.
Good day, Tim.
Andy Cortez.
Great day, Tim.
And Greg Miller.
In the YouTube chat before we went live, Darko513 says, why the fuck are y'all rating a partner showcase? Why the fuck are you watching it, Darko? There's the real question. Huh?
Fucking Darko.
Maybe you took your little fat hot dog sausage fingers off the keyboard, cracked a book, you learned something. But no, you're here to do this and eat this slop. So fucking get in here, piggy, and get the trough.
Oink, oink.
All I did was talk to this dog yesterday. All right. All I did was talk to this dog.
Someone in the chat was asking who the dog is.
Everybody, this is Cole the Wiener Dog. He's very camera shy, as you can see.
You speak, Mike.
Turn around here.
Yeah, Mike.
Turn into a dog. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Last night a witch came through, kind of funny.
Mike, you put a little microphone on him. He's like, yeah, I bought some pills off a Instagram algorithm. Slap me.
God, Mike is sick.
Said
probably not because of that.
Said they make me longer, but not the way I thought. See what I did? See what I did there?
Yeah. I did see what you did there, Greg.
Remember, come hey, man. No, it's just not great.
Remember, this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast each and every week. Plus, I don't know why you got involved. You know what I mean? I feel more betrayed than I should now.
It's so stuck in my head right now.
It's in your words.
Tim, you had one day. You had one day to be professional, and now I'm back. All right, so
do it one more time. Do it one more time for me.
Is Black Myth Wukong combat bad?
No, it's just not great.
Woo! We need to find. Right now, there's a bunch of hotel workers striking. Let's go give him the afternoon off because I'm ready to chant. Let's just go march. I just want to march and chant.
Didn't know where that was going.
Cool, Greg, give me the Home Depot bucket and flip it over. We gotta. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's get out there and support them. Workers' rights. The combat's just not great.
Holy hell, everybody. This is the Kind of Funny Gamescast, where each and every weekday we get together to talk about the biggest reviews, previews, and topics in video games live on YouTube, Twitch, and podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, please support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be part of the show, you can submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube super chats as we go. A little housekeeping for you. You already got our live reactions that we just did to the Xbox Partner Showcase. We're going to do Games Daily daily after this. And then after that, it's going to be more Alien Isolation. Andy, how'd it go yesterday? You and Nick streaming. There was a fog machine. I had to go to Spirit Halloween and buy fog.
We didn't get to the reserve fog, luckily. But I definitely feel like all of that sort of fog juice is in my nostrils still. Yeah. Still smelling it. Woke up this morning, still smelled it. Yeah.
It was a very cool effect you guys had going on there.
Looks
where you were fogging the little room and you had the green light coming through.
Yeah,
then you pointed out that you had a trophy behind you and a poster of a basketball player. It kind of took away from the vibe, but it was also the vibes were great.
Oh yeah. How was the game though?
The game's cool and it was really difficult in moments. And of course, I had to try to keep Nick on track, which is hard because I am really hard to keep on track. It wasn't a great pairing, you know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the whole time I'd be like, Nick, light the flare and toss it. He's like, I can't do that. It keeps putting it on the ground. I'm like, well, you're spamming X. You have to just hit it once and it'll light it. And then you can have the throw thing. So we were learning, like, how to play the game. And apparently this 20-hour game, I feel like the first, 2 or 3 hours of the game took us about 5 hours.
Okay.
So, like, we're learning, we're getting through it. Nick also decided to just go, like, full melee, like he's playing BioShock. It's like, no, it's a stealth game. You're not supposed to be attacking all these androids. But he was.
Yeah.
And he committed a lot of murder yesterday.
In space.
Wow. Yeah, in space, yeah.
Wow. And he's going to continue today, later, when we do the stream on YouTube and Twitch. If you're a Kind of Funny member, you can get today's Greg Way, which is a review of Dragon Age Vows and Vengeance.
Final episode's out right now.
Very cool.
Yep.
I didn't know you kept with it the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome shit. And then you can get Dr. Sleep and review this afternoon and tomorrow on YouTube and podcast services. Greg Miller, have you seen The Shining?
Of course.
Have you seen Dr. Sleep?
Of course.
Dr. Sleep's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to talk about this movie later.
Two great movies.
It is not what I expected whatsoever.
No?
So cool. Ewan McGregor, man. And Andy. Rebecca Ferguson.
Oh.
As like a witch.
Oh, my
Magic
God.
witch.
That's a dream come true.
She has this little hat. It's crazy.
Love
thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs and Delaney Twining. Today, we're brought to you by New World Eternum, but we'll tell you about that later. It's time to get to the topic of the show. The Xbox Partner Showcase for October 2024 just happened. A slightly new format for them, a little more similar to the state of plays that we see from PlayStation, or at least the old state of plays, where no human, we just hear a voice, we get some headlines, we check in on them, and then we're out. Just a whole bunch of video games, more than I expected to see, if I'm being honest. Greg Miller, I want to start with you. What did you think overall of this showcase?
Coming in, at the top of it, we said, hey, what are your hype levels? I said I was probably like a 6, right? You know what I mean? Oh, sure, I'm not like pumped. I'm glad to hang out with you guys. I'm excited to see what they have to a degree. And I think it delivered on that. I think this is a 6 out of 10. This was okay. I wasn't like the majority of these games, with the exception, the majority of these games, I was like, all right, cool. I don't think I'll ever play it, but I'm glad there's stuff that's coming out and they're doing this thing. And of course, partner showcases are always great for fulfilling your marketing obligations. And hey, we're, going to give you the spotlight, but you go through this and I had fun watching it with you guys, of course, because we're friends. But then of course, just in general, I think even if I would have watched this at home while I was eating breakfast or something, I would have had fun enough with it. Of like, okay, cool. I'm glad I did that. Exciting to see Alan Wake, the lake house at the top. Fuck yeah. And then to see FBC close it out, right? I was like, oh, that was unexpected. That's really cool. And I definitely want to talk about that game and what we want and think about that. But overall, as a showcase, it was okay. 6 out of 10.
Andy Cortez.
I'm right with Greg. I would go 5 out of 5, 5.5 out of 10. I think, but that in no way really, I didn't feel like super negative about it in any way. The thing I'm most happy about is that it helps me remember and kind of earmark dates, because there's so many games that are coming out. There's so many games that are easy to forget about. And you go, oh shit, that's still in development. Like I did about 3 times today or whatever. I'm just happy to see, the new glimpses at games. And of course, some of them I feel like, I'm not trying to be too much of a pessimist, but Blindfire seems like one that is like a dead on arrival type game. Sucks, but that's just, we've seen a whole lot of these happen already. But a lot of other decent looking games. I liked getting more of a look at Mouse, PI for Hire. I was hoping we had a definitive date on that. But by the end of it, I was very shocked to see this FBC Firebreak video game, which I thought was just never going to happen. But egg's on my face, Tim.
The egg is on your face. Bless, what about you?
Yeah, I think this is a fun one to talk about because I'm a little bit with, or they Chubby Fingers in chat, whoever Greg was shouting at.
Yeah.
Darko, Sausage Fingers, who was like,
Milicic.
I'm of the mind a little bit of like, I don't even know how to rate this thing or like why to rate this thing, right? I think, when we talk about showcases oftentimes, and putting numbers to things, I often think of, all right, what's the best showcase I've seen? What's the worst showcase I've seen? And it feels dumb for me to like try to compare this to a PlayStation E3 2017, which I think is like a 20 or a 10 out of 10, right? I look at
sure,
this.
but now you're getting into, hey, I want you to review this My Little Pony game, and you're like, well, I can't give it a 9 because I gave this amazing RPG a 9.
Yeah,
it's great on what it was, brother.
But and that's my thing with this is like, you know, they announced this a few days ago, and I very much, this is one of the rare circumstances where I've not had to talk about it on a piece of content. I've not had to think about it. I've not had to predict anything. And so I saw it get announced, and I was like, oh, it's one of the partner previews, and I immediately just wiped it from my brain, and I showed up today. I was like, oh, we're doing this thing, and I had zero expectations of it, right? Like to the point where Tim asked me at the beginning of the thing, like, you know, what's your hype level? And I'm like, I don't really have a hype level because I'm just expecting this to be commercials. And coming in with that expectation, I had a pretty good time, right? Like I wasn't expecting to see the Control multiplayer game that they've been talking about for years. I wasn't expecting to see a trailer for Eternal Strands, which is a game I'm looking forward to, right? I wasn't expecting to see Wheel World, right? Like there's a good handful of games here. Animal Welcome into Xbox, and I'm like, oh man, even for a showcase / preview that I thought was just going to be, here's a bunch of trailers for third party, here's a bunch of commercials for third party things. The ones that we got, I thought were pretty good. And I think if we're talking about, did this live up to what it wanted to be? I think it did a good job at being that. And so if I'm giving it a score, I'll give it a 7.5. I thought it was a pretty good time.
Look at that. Good job, Bless.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm at a 7. I think this is good. Comparing this to other similar showcases of this format or the style of format of, it is more just third-party things. It is a partner showcase. Like Andy was saying, FBC Firebreak didn't expect to see that. And I feel like having a little like book-ended Remedy situation is awesome. And I love whenever we see that at showcases. It's rare, but it's cool. Especially bookending it with something that people really want with the DLC and then something that we're kind of, it's more of an X factor that I'm sure we'll talk about later. But even that, Mouse is something I've been looking for updates on. Wish we got a little bit more info than just 2025. That still feels so vague to me that I'm like, I'm not sure I believe you about that. You know?
Sure.
But it looks, I'm very excited for that game, and I have
That's one, I'm excited to get hands-on with and see if it lives up to its amazing presentation.
Totally. And I just feel like overall there was a lot of games here, and they went through them quickly enough, and like I feel like there was enough news here and enough moments of, oh, that looks kind of cool, that it wasn't an offensive or it wasn't a bad showcase by any means. And I feel that there was a couple announcements that are cool, like Animal Well coming to Xbox. Like that is Roger's game of the year so far, so they're just coming to more places. I also appreciate the style of trailer that had, actually having Donkey talk. Like having fun like that, I think goes a long way for making these showcases actually feel like they're worth watching. Getting updated Yakuza Like a Pirate thing, that game looks absolutely insane in the best ways, and I'm happy that people are getting it and are happy because it looks wild. And then what was the one that had the Onimusha vibes?
Wuchang
Fallen Feathers. That looks sick. Like that looked really sick. It looks very similar to a lot of other games that have come out recently, but I think that's just video games. I can say that probably about most of the things here. And then Legend of Baboo. Into it, don't have much faith in it, but I liked watching the trailer. It made me a little happy. So yeah, I'm going with 7. That was a good showcase because had a couple genuine surprises for me that I feel like they pulled off well.
Man, I must have zoned out during Legend of Baboo. What the hell was that?
That was the one where like this looks like a less good Kenna.
Oh, right.
Pooch. We got a couple super chats. Jordan White, this was before. Well, actually, no, we already did that. We got Daniel May saying this feels like revenge on Mike for Game Showdown. Yeah, Mike's not here because of his wrongdoings.
Exactly. He understands why he's serving a 2-day suspension.
He knows why.
Cozy Bear says Anthony Gallegos is working on Subnautica 2.
Hey!
Nice. Very sick. And then Bam 255019 says Xbox and PlayStation need to learn it can be an email.
But the contract states that they will promote the games that they are partnering with. So no, an email wouldn't suffice for what they're doing when they say we'll help market the game.
I also think that this type of showcase, the way that they market it and present it as the partner showcase, like that's what this is.
What were you expecting?
Like,
to turn around the audience who's upset, like it's a 3 out of 10. Like, well, yeah, it's not a E3 presentation, but they never made it seem like it was going to be that.
And it could have been a 3 out of 10. This wasn't. Like it could have been for what these things are. We've seen that many, many times of like really bad partner showcases that don't have anything interesting and do just feel like, wow, this is like the type of just agreements that y'all made that none of us are interested in. But having games, I feel like all of us have something that was in this that's like, oh, I'm interested in this game and learning more about it. Like that's More than a 3 out of 10.
And I mean this is like not a mean or rude way, right? But like to that point of this could have been an email. I think you also could have not watched it. Like this isn't something that Xbox is like everybody in our community, every single person has to have eyes on this. That is an Xbox showcase during an E3 or Summer Game Fest, right? This is one that if we weren't doing the live reaction, I don't know if I would have watched this. I probably would have caught the updates on Twitter and been like, oh shit, we got a new trailer for Wuchang, or we got a new trailer for FBC Firebreak, right? Like this is one that I think for how they presented it being announced 2 days before, it being a partner preview, I think this is exactly what it has advertised itself to be.
Yeah. And I just feel like they didn't waste time with it. But Andy?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think one thing I'm extremely excited about that I kind of just brushed off is Subnautica being a very, very popular survival game for a very, very long time. People wanting a co-op thing, me wanting co-op, and I think that would be such great content to swim off somewhere and just holy shit, there's a big ass like squid or whatever. That world is like begging for that sort of content. And early access games are a dime a dozen. They always come to PC first. And like the fact that this is going to be PC and Xbox Series S and X is really damn cool. Like, and it is a Game Pass or Series S and X, like, just release or whatever, along with PC. It's very, very rare for a PC game generally to come out and say, hey, we're Steam Early Access at first. When can I get this? Oh, who knows? Console date to be released later. They're really, really awesome. They're right from the get-go. It'll be on those consoles.
Yeah. And to your point, I think it is interesting, and at this point, like, not a surprise how much focus PC gets in these Xbox showcases. Like, some of the games, like, even the HUD was, like, PC commands. It wasn't even controller commands. And I just feel like that's just turning of the tides, a changing of the tides when it comes to the way that Xbox and even just gamers as a whole separate PC gaming versus console gaming, and how that separation is getting less and less like by the day. Let's go through thing by thing as they announced it and give our thoughts. Starting with Alan Wake 2, The Lake House, coming October 22nd, 2024. You get to play as Janina's character.
Woo!
Greg?
Let's call her and congratulate her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, sure.
You have the perfect energy for that right now.
She loves us. She'll be super stoked.
Hello.
Janina, it's Greg Miller. You're live on Twitch and YouTube and stuff. We wanted to call and congratulate you for Alan Wake 2, The Lake House. It's going to be great to play as you.
Greg, who are you with right now? Who's there?
It's Tim, Blessing, and Andy, and me.
Oh, hey, Tim.
Hi.
Hey, Blessing. Hey, Andy.
Hey, Janina.
Greg.
Yeah.
Never call me again.
But, okay.
Just hang up.
Damn. It's unfortunate, man.
I'm still excited for the game.
Yeah.
I'm still excited. It's a big that's I'm gonna have to look into that one maybe off air. That's a change. It was you guys. She was excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seemed like maybe she could have talked to all of us, that she would have like enjoyed that call more.
What's funny, Andy, do you want to try calling her and see if the reactions are
I've never even met her before. she seemed excited.
Yeah. I mean, well, maybe if anything, Tim, maybe that's the last public phone call that'll ever.
Maybe it is. Maybe someone's learned a lesson. Maybe.
Really took you down.
Not me.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
maybe Janina should, because I'll tell you right now, fans aren't going to go support this game if she's not nice to me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's what it is.
They thought there was something in the air, and that's why they didn't support that Borderlands movie, all right?
Exactly.
That was the real reason there. No, I'm stoked for Alan Wake 2, The Lake House. Obviously, we're all Alan Wake 2 fans here, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I like
Tim's
it.
not-
It's just too scary.
Yeah, okay. Well, I loved it. Roger loved it. Obviously, we all had a great time around here with, I don't know what Cole's smelling on the air. That looks exactly what I want. I loved the last DLC. It was a fun little anthology for Night Springs, right? Get into this Twilight Zone in the world we know. But to get back into it and be back in Janina's shoes here, going through and doing Federal Bureau of Control stuff, it looks like... which obviously it is, but it looks like a successor, whether it be a sequel or a spiritual successor to what Control was. I'm excited for more of that, let alone my hype for Control 2 and the Remedyverse in general. So, yeah, I'm very excited and don't have to wait long, end of the month.
Bless.
Sorry, really quick. Andy, I just want to, join you in watching Greg play this.
Of course, yeah.
Come on over, guys.
Yeah.
It's too
Usually
scary
start
to
games
play on
about
my own.
9 p.m. Start nodding off around 11:30.
Bless, you excited for this one?
Oh yeah, I'm super excited. I think my expectations might be a little bit out of whack because I'm more of a Control person than an Alan Wake person, and knowing that we have a Control, like this being the Control, themed DLC, I think in my head, I'm like, oh, we're going all control. We're going like fully into the FBC. It's going to be themed around like you're going to be playing as Jesse Faden and all these things.
Maybe it's
right?
a prequel to Control 2.
Maybe it's a prequel to Control 2. Like, my expectations have been super out of whack, and so actually seeing it, I'm like, okay, cool. This looks like more Alan Wake, which of course. But I'm just excited to get my hands on it and see what they do with it and see like how they make those connections between the two games, because I love what they're doing with the Remedyverse, and I think they're doing smart things with it.
I hope that the gameplay loop is a bit changed up, because we, like the flashlight being Alan Wake's thing, and hopefully there's a different sort of, I don't want to say gimmick, but just a different mechanic to kind of hunker this game around, right? I really hope that it's more, because that just got kind of tiring for me, and just break the shield and shoot them or whatever.
Well, you notice they don't seem to have the same darkness surrounding them. It looked way more like the Control enemies, right? And even the one who popped out of the wall, the text on the wall dude.
Can you pause it?
Like, that is giving me more of a ghosty ghost vibe, or maybe a...
Is it just me, or do you see Chun-Li in the middle there?
I can see it. Yeah, no, 100%.
A jumping kick, yeah.
And what I hear, let it play a second, because Genie
like
fires off a
Rorschach
few
test.
rounds, right? And it doesn't look like they do the thing where they, narrow the flashlight beam.
That was some psychiatry type stuff. What do you see here?
That was the first, when we were watching the trailer, that was the first thing I noticed. But Andy, you're a big Control person, like, to Blessing's point about thinking he's like over expecting more Control stuff. Like, how much Control do you expect to get from this? And like, do you think that you watching Greg play this, do you think it's going to satisfy you from the Control perspective?
I wouldn't surprise that by the end of it we get some like, what I would love from this game is it to be third-person shooter through and through for maybe 3/4 to 4/5 of it, and at the end maybe something happens with Jeannie's character where suddenly she is flying and doing the control, and you're like, whoa, that's a really cool tease for what the next sort of Control could look like in this extremely advanced engine with this amazing lighting and all the sort of bells and whistles that they've done visually. I would love for something like that to happen. Cole's over there crawling around. It's so cute.
Cole's just walking. He has the biggest little eyes.
It's such a different experience. You know what I mean? Because obviously, Porty never graced these halls, and so to have like when Porty used to come to the above the comic book office, let alone then the spare bedroom, it was much less like. You always kind of knew where he was.
Yeah.
Now I just hear the jingle of him behind curtains. He's over there somewhere offset.
Like eating a light bulb.
I think it'd be super sick to have some sort of tease like that. In addition to maybe, going back in time. I'm not sure what they're going to be doing conceptually here, but being able to visit like the astral plane, I think would be really neat.
Sure.
I just want those Easter eggs. And I want to watch Greg experience those Easter eggs.
You're welcome. We should just set it up for a stream out there. You know what I mean? Get out there and just go.
Should I give Control another chance, Andy?
Yeah.
You never beat Control?
No, because Office Spaces are really scary, and when they make it even a little bit creepy, that's like a lot for me. And also, that map was
scary.
What?
Just the part where you said Office Spaces are scary.
Yeah,
I didn't know that about you.
I don't know why it's really freaky.
So
have you worked in an office space?
I mean, we have one. Oh, I guess.
Yeah,
our
but
office is less office.
they're specifically
Cubicles.
like the type of building that like the FBC is in. There's something about that.
The brutalism
the
aspect.
layout of it and stuff like that. I don't know.
Let me give you
You would hate Severance. Like we gotta like do a live reaction.
That's why I have not watched Severance.
Good show.
And then also the map was terrible in Control. So.
But also it was the ASMR whispering of you walking through and just hearing like on the top right, and be like, God damn, that was really freaky.
Shaggy Squad says Baird's final boss is the back rooms. 100%. 100%.
Reading from the Xbox Wire, the Lake House tells the story of Agent Estevez's visit to the Lake House facility, which takes place in parallel with the early part of Alan Wake 2 co-protagonist Saga's story in Alan Wake 2, explains the lead writer Clay Murphy. By the time Saga and Estevez meet, the story of this expansion has already occurred. So I'm happy with that, because they talk about, before that, they talk about, obviously Alan Wake 2 being self-contained. So the idea that we're just doing the side stuff that was happening there, I'm down for that.
Moving on from Alan Wake 2, we got Cronos, The New Dawn, new game from Bloober Team, coming 2025 to Xbox and PC. This is the scary chess game going on. Seems cool. I mean, like a new IP, I didn't expect to see this. I didn't expect to see a new Bloober game. So, like, again, that's another thing for the showcase of like, all right, cool. Y'all had something of substance here. Didn't show too much of it, but I feel like the vibes are right. Like they're doing something that feels fresh for Bloober.
feels to me like their version of what their take on what a Dead Space game could be. Like this is going to be their Dead Space. I think it feels a bit more action focused with this sort of similar to Isaac's like his hero suit. It's clear they want this to look like they want that silhouette of this character to be like, hey, this is our version of what Master Chief is or Doom Guy. Like this is our suit, our hero suit, power armor or whatever. It seems like they have a really cool concept visually. Like I think just like the environment and all this sort of spooky stuff they're doing seems a lot more different to what they've done in the past. I don't know. There's something like a lot more supernatural about it.
I like really jumping into their press release, right? The first Bloober Team's first original IP in the survival horror genre, marking a significant step forward for the Polish studio's evolution as masters of horror. Cronos: The New Dawn is a twisted time travel story set in an unforgiving post-apocalyptic future in 1980s Poland. Players will take on the role of a traveler, an agent of the enigmatic collective, with a mission to extract selected people who didn't survive the apocalypse from the past.
That's cool.
That's fucking cool. To complete the collective's mission, players will need to survive a deadly wasteland created by a cataclysmic event known as the Change, filled with monstrous abominations that will challenge players' combat abilities.
It's their first original IP in the you said psychological horror or you
survival
said survival
horror. Survival
Is the
horror.
medium not survival horror?
According to Bloober Team, I guess not. Also, maybe
Weird.
they own the medium.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I forget. Xbox published the medium, right? So maybe they own that.
Bloober published it, according to Wikipedia.
Oh well, Wikipedia's never been wrong.
That's true. I think this is probably a very big moment for them, right? Coming off of
100%.
Silent Hill 2 being their latest release. And
I mean,
Silent
that's how
Hill
they
2
leave
being-
the press release, just
Yeah.
days after the release of Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, like I think
Get 'em.
If they nail this, it could be the story of pre-Silent Hill 2 Bloober versus post-Silent Hill 2 Bloober, where this could be the turning point where it is, oh, this is now a studio we all have to pay attention to going forward. Because, before this, they've had high-profile games, but I don't think they've had any, like, across-the-board hits. Like you're coming off of the previous Layers of Fear that came out in 2023, and then The Medium, which came out in 2021. You had Blair Witch before that. You had Observer before that. You had the other Layers of Fear games. But Silent Hill 2 feels like it's really put them on the map and turned them to a studio that people are like, oh shit, you got the stuff now. And with this game looking as cool as it does, I really hope it hits for them.
It's super stoked for people to go back now and look at the medium and be like, damn, we judged this one wrong. It is better than Resident Evil Village.
Knew what he was doing there.
I don't know what I'm doing every time. That's why I wear the Nitro Rifle merch. This guy gets it.
Yeah. I also just love our collective moods towards this game. Just like Bus was mentioning, had Silent Hill 2 not come out yet, or had that not even been a thing, we would have been like, oh gosh, here comes another game that
1000%.
maybe looks neat, and it's going to be a 78, and it's going to be very middling, and some people might think it's like a 9 out of 10. For the most part, it's going to be a 6 and a 7 out of 10. After Silent Hill 2, I have so much more faith in what this is now. I haven't even played it. I just know that everybody loves that game. And so, yeah, very, very encouraged now.
Yeah, and to your point about them, this looking identifiable and having a thing of like, this could be Bloober's moments. Like, even the end with the weird little like claw massage hands, like that's cool. It's like some unique gimmicky thing that like, how does that relate to gameplay and like change up the combat or whatever? Combat, I don't even know what it would be for that, but like, could be interesting.
Really cool
concept. Eyes on Cronos, everybody.
Yeah, for sure that
had
concept.
that Death Stranding thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Like, I love survival horror. I love Dead Space. So like, you model something around that. That sounds cool. But then the story of there's this thing we're gonna go back in time and bring people. That's cool.
Very, very cool. Very
and I think what sticks out to me the most is obviously not only the visuals of this sort of like super soldier going back in time or whatever, but them talking about enemies that will test your combat abilities. And it's like, yeah, this is going to be, they are going for a very sort of action heavy thing, regardless of how creepy and scary it's going to be. They still want it to be a third person shooter,
Next up, we had Blindfire from 011. Early access is today. This is the one that looks like Batman Forever. A lot of neon colors. And it's funny, like Andy just fucking nailed the whole vibe of this game. I'm just like, man, this feels dead on arrival. But it's unfortunate because like looking at it, it looks cool. Like everything about it is like, man, this looks rad. It's just like we've just seen so many similar things a million times. And the gimmick, while it's sounding like an interesting, we haven't quite had that before, it doesn't feel different enough to make it feel like, oh, there's going to be something here that this game can survive.
We'll see. I'm reading off their summary, right? Blindfire is a new arena shooter with a twist. Players are trapped in darkness, relying on their instincts to survive. Engage in tense team-based battles that encourage bold strategic play. If it's not doing it for Andy, if he can't see him and Snow Mike and Chris Hanke getting lost in the sauce.
See, I'm not on the Dead on Arrival club yet, mainly because I think they're revealing this game the right way, which is show gameplay immediately, and then have it out for early access or have it out in a playable form today so that people can make up their minds by themselves, right? Like I put that at like the pure antithesis of how they did it with Concord, which was, oh, here's a cinematic. Oh yeah, it's a PvP, whatever it is, and you'll get to play it months from now, and people kind of like, had that
forget about it, remember?
Yeah, to forget about it, or also make up their mind that it was going to be trash or whatever. Them being like, hey, play it today. Like, this is what the game is. It's this thing where it's dark, but you have neon or whatever, and like, it's more fast paced than something like a Midnight Murder Club was what people were throwing around in chat. This is one that I would, at the very least, I kind of want to try out. I could see it being dead on.
I hope
like,
it works.
Day
It's
after
got
arrival,
cool ideas,
but...
right? Thankfully, you're not just scurrying around in the dark waiting for someone to reveal themselves. Blindfire offers each player an ability called Echo, which briefly reveals the outlines of your immediate surroundings. It also has a feature called Last Known Position, which will reveal an opponent's last few movements if they are within range of the scan.
The chat is really questioning if that's gameplay or not, and so that is an interesting thing. If they put out that where it's like trying to make it look like it's gameplay, and then we're able to play the game today and it's not like that at all, that's going to be a big problem.
When I saw it initially, I thought this isn't gameplay, but then the fact that it is available today and they have screenshots from that in the Xbox Wire, it makes me think that must be.
Can you put up the trailer again? Because I didn't even question it.
It's just I get the vibe of what they're saying. The way that like
I think the way the movement of everything,
the running around and stuff feels a bit more
staged.
I don't know. Yeah.
Like choreographed gameplay.
This also
this
makes
is what
sense.
I was talking about with the HUD,
RNF.
the RNF.
Yeah.
We didn't understand that at the time. Now it makes sense, right? Obviously, that a rapid reload is going to be probably very loud, and a slow reload will be quiet.
I think what I've sort of generated after my time with, Shroud's game, Spectre Divide, and games of that nature is that I think we always look at these games and go, what are they doing different? What's the hook? And sometimes there is a hook that makes it so niche that you can't imagine everybody congregating around this one hook. Like, hey, it's in the dark. Like we're an arena shooter, but you're in the dark. Or even a game like Splitgate. Hey, it's Halo with portals, right? Really, really awesome at the get-go. And then you imagine that you want a game to just be a serious arena shooter, and then maybe have these as little side modes or whatever. Hey, it's in the dark now. That's this little mode in Halo or whatever. I just, I'm thinking about this other game that got announced today, Project Ethos from 31 Union Official, which is a roguelite that I'm sure that Greg and Gary Whittle will talk about at Games Daily after, but it's a roguelite sort of third-person shooter. And it reminds me of another sort of game that just looks like all of these games look awesome. That's the thing. There hasn't been any one of these sort of games as a service multiplayer type games that doesn't look cool. It's just there's 30 of them that look cool. And there's just not enough player base to sort of spread around. You have to, players congregate back to one thing, and it's always Call of Duty or Apex or Overwatch or whatever.
Is there no such thing as, I guess, that smaller bubble game anymore, right? Because I know we talk about these competitive games of, hey, you're competing with COD, you're competing with Apex, you're competing with Fortnite or whatever the biggest titles are. Is there like a Rogue Company, for example, that came out in 2019, 2020, around that time somewhere, and I feel like that had like a small player base that they were, feeding for a little bit, right? Like, and I'm fascinated by, can you come out with the expectation of, hey, we're putting out this live service or multiplayer thing, we're planning on supporting it for 4 years or whatever, right? Like, have some kind of like mediated goal. That way you don't have the expectation that you're going to be Call of Duty or Fortnite, but also you can still put out something unique in the shooter genre and have it be successful by your own means.
I think that's always the hope. I think once we get back to with how popular it's become to show concurrent player base on Steam and how easy that is to dunk on a game for its popularity. Oh, game's dead. Look at that. It has 3,000 players. Game's dead. It has 6,000 players or whatever. Look at what these other old games are doing. And the way that that's sort of become the conversation and the way that could discourage current players from then hopping into said game, unless it's a free-to-play title or whatever. But you see that low player base and you go, well, I don't want to buy that then if it's not, again, this is an early access title, but even something like Concord, I don't want to buy that then if there's nobody playing it. Like,
let's see how it goes. Let's see how it fares. Let's see if it gets an audience.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I don't know. This game just doesn't look like it has like the concept has the longevity to make somebody go, I want this to be the next game for a good while. And your hope is, Bless, that these games do well enough to not shutter a studio and have a bunch of layoffs, and maybe they can just make enough money to work on the next thing or whatever. But I'm just constantly thinking about the amount of titles that the player base dwindles and dwindles, and you hope to God that the numbers on the books are positive enough to
justify keeping it around.
Yeah, because I mean, just leaving up server costs, the cost to have servers to run these games alone that's a lot of budget that you're talking about,
Yeah.
Next up, we had Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, which is canon, everybody. Roger had a quote saying, "Oh, they're showing the ships."
He was so excited.
And Xbox says, in today's Xbox Partner Preview, we saw a whole new trailer, which among many other things gave us a first look at the game's brand new naval battles and a new, earlier than anticipated release date of February 21st, 2025. This shit just looks fun, man. Like, they're just having fun out there. I love how wild this is. And more than anything, we've said this so many times, but I can't believe this is coming out so soon. These guys are
God
just
bless them.
Pumping out the hits. Maybe it'll be this one, Andy?
Roger's really trying to convince me. I mean,
Are pirates your thing? I don't think so.
No,
right?
definitely not. Definitely not. But everybody is telling me, like, you got to start with 0. So maybe that's the one I start with, and maybe I'll eventually maybe I'll be a Yakuza sicko by the end of 2026.
Your new Dark Souls?
Huh?
It's going to be your new Dark Souls?
Possibly. Yeah, maybe this is the new genre I go really into.
He'll get start up Yakuza 0 along with Assassin's Creed Shadows at the same time.
This will be the one.
We'll see how that pizza bet goes between you and Blessing.
I've already lost. Shadows. February's fucked.
Bless.
Yeah.
Pirates.
No. I don't like them. I don't like them. We've been through this
beef that we have.
Yeah, I don't fuck with pirates.
Yeah.
Buy your stuff legally,
Yep, exactly. You wouldn't steal a car.
It's also just the sea. And it's also like, they seem smelly. Like, I don't know. There's something about pirates, a lot of things about pirates. I'm just like, I don't fuck with it.
Sunburns.
Do they get sunburns a lot? I know they get scurvy a lot.
I mean, they're definitely not wearing sunscreen out there.
That's
You're on
true.
the ocean. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Has anybody had scurvy in the last 100 years?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Probably pirates.
Sure.
Damn, it just seems like one of them things that just probably existed a long time ago. I'm Google it.
We're going to keep going through the rest of the games that Xbox showed today, but after a word from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by New World Eternum. New World Eternum is a thrilling action RPG experience for console and PC players with a vibrant world, vast and beautiful setting, dynamic real-time action combat, and the freedom for players to choose how to forge their destiny. Combat is skill-based and dynamic, incorporating swords, guns, and sorcery so that you can build one character to rule them all as you explore Eternum and unravel the mysteries of the supernatural island that you can't leave. You love playing RPGs alone? You can in New World Eternum, or play cooperatively with your friends as you complete quests, get better gear, and level up. Greg played this at Summer Game Fest on PlayStation 5 and was caught off guard by how much he enjoyed it and how many hours he said he could see himself sinking into the final product. There's boss fights, cool enemies, crossplay, resource gathering, and crafting. So yeah, this sounds like a Greg game. New World Eternum is available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Next up, we had Mouse PI for Hire coming to Xbox and PC 2025. This is one of those games that we've seen a handful of times in the past, and it looks super damn cool. Real 1930s animated cartoon aesthetic.
Steamboat Willie.
Exactly. And it just looks awesome. Like, I feel like this looks like it reminds me obviously of Cuphead, but not just in terms of visual style, but in terms of excitement of like, oh man, I can't wait to play this. But
excitement in terms of like turning a genre too.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like, I'm so happy that this is taking a visual cue from Cuphead, but putting it into a first person detective story. That sounds cool.
Yeah, and Bless brought up, like, we'll see how the gameplay can kind of back this up, which definitely is a concern. But I feel like this one is going to... I feel like there's a very small likelihood this game is bad. But I also don't have full faith that it's going to be, like, Cuphead amazing. You know?
That's the thing, is I think it's tough to, execute on a first-person shooter with this level of style and have it feel really good as a shooter. if they do, that's gonna be fucking immaculate, and I cannot wait for it. And that's the thing is, no matter what, I want to try out this game. I think the art style by itself is carrying so much of the hype and excitement for it. But yeah, like I look at the shooting and I'm like, okay, nothing's standing out to me yet as far as I need to play this as a video game. It's more so I want to play this as like an experience.
Right, for that sort of visual touchstone. And I also just love how floppy the guns are. Whenever you reload these guns, they have all this like secondary
Crazy
action to them or whatever.
Yeah.
I think I'd be more into this game if it wasn't. I think one of the main ways to pull off this visual style is to have these 2D sprites, right? Like this sort of old school Doom where you're not shooting a 3D model enemy, you are shooting just a flat sprite character that is obviously really incredibly animated. But there's something about that has always like turned me off about boomer shooters. And whenever we see a boomer shooter that uses like full 3D models, I'm a lot more into trying those out. But this still looks fantastic, and I agree with Bless. It's definitely unique looking enough to where you got to give it a shot regardless of whether you're into these games or not.
Is it the dying animation? Because I think there's something about like killing or like, I guess, killing a 2D model versus a 3D asset where like maybe on a 3D asset, maybe like the head will explode or like, I don't know, fall backwards or whatever. But with like a 2D model, it is, they fucking disintegrate down.
Hey man, we weren't complaining in Doom.
We saw some cool moments of
1936.
We saw some cool moments right here in that trailer where you're fighting that larger mouse in that sewer where you're getting different camera angles on it, and then the perspective of the animal is changing. It's not just a rotating sprite that is constantly facing you all the time, which is really, really neat. But something that those have always just drawn me in less than like a more modern third-person shooter or first-person shooter.
My hope is that somebody who's not a first-person shooter guy, that it's not so FPS that I feel like I want it to feel crisp, I want it to feel good, but I want it to feel fun more than anything. And then I also hope it doesn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah,
that looks like a great 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah,
5.
6 max.
Yeah,
totally.
Like,
especially with the detective side of it, which they seem to be leaning in on with the strings and all that stuff. Like I feel like,
but how much of that is just presentation? I hope there's a cool story to it, but it feels like a setup for the trailer, not so much the game.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of taking pictures of all there was multiple pictures taken in this.
I love taking a good picture.
I don't know. To me, that's the stuff I'm like, all right, that's just kind of getting you from point A to point B, but like, do not overstay your welcome.
My hope would be that it's a 4 to 5 hour game. Gunplay feels good, and we're getting the. Then this dame walked into my office. And we're getting that like hard-boiled detective noir.
Next up, we had Subnautica 2 coming to early access 2025. Xbox says it's a cooperative multiplayer for up to 4 players.
Ooh.
Something that has been hotly requested by our community over the years. It will be available with Xbox Game Preview launch. Introducing the optional cooperative experience alongside a whole new planet felt like the best opportunity to make that switch, and we're certain that it'll test your ingenuity and ability to adapt as you explore the world together. But for those who prefer the eerily beautiful solitude of solo play, Subnautica 2 will still provide that familiar experience and prove equally as challenging.
Super exciting. This is going to be
going to the depths, Andy.
This is going to be the next one for all of us. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very, very jazzed. I mean, I've always wanted to just play co-op Subnautica 2, but you need that mod, and things may not be super functional all across all the different systems. I'm super jazzed to get in there because this game is very, very highly regarded in that sort of lesser known. I mean, obviously very known for people like us, but this never hit the mainstream in a big major way. But it's one of the ones that I feel like is the most polished and has the most sense of mystery and the most amount of like, holy shit, that gigantic, there's something down there, that sort of feeling that I really, really love about survival games.
We had Animal Well available today on Xbox. Remember, this got a 91 on Metacritic and is leading Roger's current Game of the Year watch.
Game of the year.
This seems to have been on the other consoles first, but now it's on Xbox as well.
Crazy.
So it seems to be available everywhere.
Totally thought that was just everywhere already. Yeah. And obviously people love Animal Well, play Animal.
Good ass video game.
Very good.
Next up, we had Eden Zero. This is coming 2025 for Xbox and PC, based on the Hiro Mashima manga and the anime series of the same name. Eden Zero is a third-person action game that saw its world premiere during the show. Set in the unique sci-fi universe of the manga, you'll take hero Shiki Granbell across the universe in search of the cosmic entity Mother, gathering new characters, each with their own abilities as you go. Eden Zero will be released in 2025.
Grippers.
Blessing, how you
you
feeling
see
about
that?
this
You
one?
see
Don't say
Overwatch
my
2?
name.
We saw about grippers.
Crazy.
That was weird, right?
Crazy.
It was really weird. Are people calling it out being weird, or is that just like
everybody's
something?
like, what?
Okay,
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Very weird. You
Yeah.
can't be the official account doing that.
You can't be doing that.
Like everybody knows we call out grippers because feet fetishization is like a very sexual thing. You cannot call the grippers of a 16-year-old character in your game.
No.
I was 16-year-old. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Kiriko.
Overwatch did that?
Kiriko's a 16-year-old girl. She's the daughter, or she's like the niece of Genji and Hanzo. And there's a new skin coming out for her, and it was like this skin of Kiriko has grippers. And I was like, dog, you can't. What are we doing?
That's so funny.
Like that.
Rudy in the chat just says, "I love
Everybody clowned on them. Like,
oh yeah, no, everybody's like, this is really like a stupid thing to do. Awkward. Very, very odd.
Wow.
Anyway,
weird.
Trevor writes in with the super chat about Subnautica, saying, "Got into the original Subnautica via Game Pass and I loved it. So Subnautica 2 is by far the highlight for me." And Bam says, "February's getting busy. Does Shadow get delayed again?"
Which Shadow?
No.
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed.
Oh.
I feel like Assassin's Creed at this point. That's the.
You thinking the Hedgehog?
I was like, wait,
You got really scared.
I was like, what did they delay Sonic and Shadow? We're a week away.
God,
don't do that to me.
You're so.
Can't delay it. It's so cool.
You're so Sonic filled, man.
They need that game to come out this fiscal year. I don't think if they do delay it, it would be like maybe a couple weeks. I think that Ubisoft needs that game to come out this fiscal year.
I don't see it getting delayed. I think that it
It's Assassin's Creed.
Again, we were talking about it, right, for the moving the date back a week for Like a Dragon when we were there. Monster Hunter Wilds is also on the 28th, which I think was one of the ones we had talked about eating up a lot of bandwidth.
Eternal Strands was shown. This is Mike Laidlaw's game. Breath of the Wild meets Immortals Phoenix Rising. This systemic action RPG from a team of developers who worked on Dragon Age, Assassin's Creed, coming early 2025. Andy, what do you think?
It looks awesome as hell. I remember reading early on about it and just kind of watching a bunch of earlier trailers. Man, I cannot talk right now. Earlier trailers that IGN First is doing. And I could have sworn that they had mentioned it was like run-based roguelite type stuff. I remember reading reports that it wasn't going to be like just this single-player campaign, full story. Seemed more akin to like a single-player Monster Hunter type game where you're going after these large sort of big, I don't want to call them robots because it's obviously very fantasy-based, right? But you do climb these dudes and eventually like weaken them enough to where you could break parts off of them. But I love the idea of this world based in physics. Like it's all about like using ice to freeze these things, using fire to melt that thing or whatever. Like I love when games can really, really get in depth with how the elements interact with each other.
Hey.
Cole's going crazy out there.
You got Ferocious back there.
I'm
not seeing the side of him.
You leave him here 15 minutes, it becomes his house. And he heard a door over there. He's like, who's coming in the house without immediately checking in with me?
One thing I like about this Eternal Strands game, right, like it's the fact that it's leading into the Breath of the Wild aspects, but then also you see like the climbing on top of giant beasts, which gives me big like Shadow of the Colossus vibes to it too. I think they have like they're headed towards a lot of the right direction with where they want to take this game. My main thing is that I hope it's more Breath of the Wild than Immortals Phoenix Rising. I know a lot of people love Immortals Phoenix Rising, but I think if you're gonna like advertise you can burn everything, you can freeze everything, right? I think the systems wise, the way that Breath of the Wild approached that stuff and allowed like different elements of physics to interact with other things to create for these super unique scenarios that felt one of a kind. That's the kind of stuff I want to see, and that's the kind of stuff that's going to be very difficult to replicate and very difficult to pull off.
It was nice of them to show it in there, right? In their official little description on the Xbox page with a unique magic system that allows you to combine spells, parentheses, freezing a flying dragon's wing so it falls to the ground anyone, in-depth crafting systems, and titanic climbable bosses. It's a beautiful combination already.
Yeah.
These magical abilities can also be used for exploration. Bryn can construct bridges using ice, burn obstacles, or use telekinetic skills to launch herself across great distances. As a player progresses, they will encounter 9 distinct bosses that roam in different part of the game's world.
That's cool.
Players are often required to fight these bosses while climbing on them in order to strike their weak points. Once a boss is defeated, players will be rewarded with a new magical ability that can be used for exploration or combat. Part of it just always read less straightforward narrative to me. Like I don't feel like in any of the snippets I've seen of this game that there's going to be heavy cutscenes and narration. It just feels very much like get in the game and go play the video game sort of thing.
Yeah, Bless, you bringing up the Shadow of the Colossus thing, like I had a guttural reaction to it when I watched it as well, of thinking about that. And yeah, what Andy's just saying about the 9 bosses in the world, like the idea of like Breath of the Wild style climbing with Shadow of the Colossus type bosses, that's really interesting.
Especially when you bring in the elemental aspect, like you reading off, or I forget if you were correct, but one of you guys read off like freezing the wings to take it out the air. That sounds fucking awesome.
It does. There's something about the visuals though that feels very generic to me though, that like I feel like that's the type of game that I'm like, I'm gonna wait for reviews.
That's the Immortals Phoenix Rising half of the game. That is.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Yeah,
I love it. It reminds me a lot of Valorant. I'm such a sucker for that sort of not flat texturization, but they're not going for realism. Obviously, it's super stylized while still kind of keeping, like sometimes you play games that are like way too heavily into the stylization where a metal won't even shine the way you expect a metal to look or whatever.
Yeah.
It's got a good enough look to me that I feel is a bit overdone for sure, but I'm still kind of a sucker for it. In the same way that I was playing that new roguelite from Windblown, the new Dead Cells devs, playing that roguelite, I'm like, I'm such a little sucker for this. Like, they know exactly what they're doing, and I could play 12 of these games and be like, oh, my fire is more powerful now? I'm so easy for that shit.
Also, Shadow Trickster in the chat has been pointing out, I would love a link to this Shadow Trickster, that this game has AI voices and assets. Just a heads up for people.
Not surprised.
But yeah, to the art style thing too, like because I clocked the same thing of, visually it's leaning more Immortals. The thing that I'll give it though is that like it's hard to be like, hey, let's have Breath of the Wild art style. Like that's not something that you can just fucking conjure up, right? Like Nintendo takes years and years and years and years to put together that game. Like I think that's one of those ones where I'm like, all right, I'll wait to actually get my hands on the game before I start to judge the visuals of it, like in regards to how that's going to reflect on the gameplay. So that's where I'm at.
We had a Mistfall Hunter next, coming 2025. There's a Souls-like in Extraction. Yuck, says Bless.
Yuck.
Congratulations, Roger, for getting that up so quickly.
Oh, did he get it?
Yeah, it's already on. It's
it's just like the, I don't want to like cast judgment before like actually getting my hands on the game or whatever, but
Here
like when you end the trailer and the thing is, it's an Extraction Souls-like. I'm like, what Google trend search did you look up in order to inform the creation of this game? Because I don't know, that doesn't do much for me, but I'm more curious from Andy, like, does that do much for you?
I don't understand. Like, we see this little character on the right sort of doing a healing thing. I don't fully know if it's just PvE VP or whether there is only like playing against the computer characters, but some of it looks like you are encountering other player characters that you might have to take down and then take their shit for them, which then puts it in that sort of dark and darker realm of gameplay where you are just kind of dungeon crawling and you might encounter other teams. And hopefully if you do, you have proximity chat, because that's always the funniest shit. But something about this one just didn't really... Usually that would kind of spark a little excitement in me. It didn't really do much for me, though. Yeah. And then seeing Extraction didn't do anything for me.
Yeah. Then we had Wheel World. It's the new game for Ghost Bike. It's going to be very hard to say. It's from Annapurna Interactive. Wheel World sees you retrieving and fixing the last of the ghost bikes, which can travel between the worlds of the living and the dead, mixing open world exploration as you repair and upgrade your bike with the treasures you find and races set across the map. It's a game designed to be taken at your own pace, all set to an original soundtrack from artists on the Italians Do It Better music label. I'm unfamiliar with that music label.
I like the name.
Yeah, me too. Real quick, I put that in there too. I left off because I was live doing it. Messhoff, the developer on that one. For me, the biggest thing was why change the name. Over on the Xbox Wire write-up, or maybe it was the press release, they had a quote from the developers. The gameplay in Wheel World has gone through a number of iterations in terms of gameplay and structure, and the narrative has had to adapt along the way. At the point last year, when it felt right to announce the project, we came up with the name Ghost Bike based on where the narrative was. It was a game about dying on a bike after being hit by a car and ending up in cycling Valhalla. While it wasn't directly based on real-world ghost bikes, which I'd never heard of, but they call here in parentheses, those white bikes memorializing cyclists killed by drivers, there was enough overlap to feel like the name was justified and the associations would be a positive one for both directions. But as things changed in the gameplay to make it more fun to play, and thus the story, parentheses, especially in tone, it fit less and less. That's a really honest answer. For something I would wonder about, like, why'd you change the name? And then, there's this thing called ghost bikes that are actually very solemn that I didn't know about.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's good on them for being like, hey, our game doesn't really match that vibe anymore. So
those are gonna be like, ghosts are scary.
But I don't know that
we don't want to call that into our lives. We don't want that in getting in us.
Like, while that is a good explanation, Real World's a bad name.
Bad name. Yeah. Bad name.
Like, it's gonna, I think, really hurt this game because the game looks cool. And Ghost Bike, I think, is cooler. Than it's like, okay.
Real World, and especially, I mean, like. Who knows? You're just glancing at anything, but Wheel World, you glance at that, and if you missed the ghost in the beginning, do you understand that you're in Cycling Valhalla and you're just in this little exploration fun game? And I think that'd be a better hook to get people in than, I would have figured out a different way to get the ghosts involved.
Yeah,
Ghost Bike,
Paranormal Cycle, Paracycle.
Oh, I like that.
Bi-curious.
Yeah,
is that the subtitle?
And it's a bicycle, and it is the curiosities of the ghost world.
I like that.
I want to experiment.
I think Ghost Bike, kind of that name reminds me more of. It doesn't really remind me of it, but like it does more for me that what Rollerdrome did for me, just on name alone. Like I can kind of get a glimpse of what it is. Wheel World, it sounds like an MMO type thing. I don't know.
Sounds like a Scribblenauts expansion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Next up, we had Phasmophobia coming to Xbox October 29th, 2024. It won a bunch of awards. They made that clear. Andy?
I mean, it doesn't do anything for me, but I've played this game on PC before, and it's good.
You ready to get spooked?
Huh?
You ready to get spooked?
Not really. The thing I loved about it on PC was the use of all of the sort of proximity chat or whatever, but I played a couple matches here and there, and I was like, I've had my fill. Yeah. I'm good,
I'm excited for that one. It's one that I always thought was cool. I'm a big Ghostbuster guy, and ghosts in general and horror games. And I never, got on the PC train with it, so the fact that it's here for Xbox, hell yeah.
Then we had The Legend of Baboo coming 2025. In a world premiere, we were introduced to The Legend of Baboo, an action-adventure set across a magical island, sending a child hero, Sepher, into the fray with only their wits, weapons, and an absolutely gorgeous dog named Baboo to protect them. Shout out to this little dude, Baboo. You know what I mean? When I saw him on the door, I was like, he is the star of this. It's a weird one, like...
Why is everybody's faces? And I didn't want to say this on the reacts. Even the dog's face looks fucking ugly. Like, what is happening?
AA Gaming. This is a smaller studio making a game, trying their best. Maybe they overscoped on it. Maybe they
100%. But if we're like having everything around this dog, like, come on, man, what are we doing?
Look at him. I don't know, man. I fucks with Baboo.
Nah, this is giving me original Sonic face in the movie vibes. Like what?
I want to make sure we protect this dog. For some reason, that animation of the dog getting surprised is really funny to me, and I like riding it. So yeah,
you love riding it.
Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, I mean, Greg nails it. It's AA, low budget that definitely sort of overscoped and maybe should have gone for a more stylistic approach when you are trying to. It's in between stylization and realism, and the parts that they're going for with realism just don't translate well to whatever this is. Like, I would have just preferred big cartoony eyes and stuff, but it feels like every shot they chose for humans in this was just not the most flattering shot for them,
Next up, we had Wuchang Fallen Feathers.
Sick as shit.
Let's go.
Bless.
This game looks awesome. This is actually the first time where I'm really like, I'm sure we've had trailers before that I've forgotten about. This is the one that like stuck out to me in a way where I'm like, I gotta keep an eye on this one. I gotta like actually pay attention to this one.
What was the last one?
Phantom Blade Zero, maybe?
This one. Phantom Blade Zero probably was the last one. Yeah. Listen, is that From Software effect, right? I feel like what they've done for action games and action RPGs has been so good because we've seen so many studios bring it in terms of making games that are like difficult, visually satisfying, like, like having really cool weapons, really cool locations. And this is another one coming from a studio out of China, which is really cool to see, right? Like Black Myth Wukong made waves earlier in the year. I'm excited to see like what other studios had to bring. This one, from everything that we've seen today, and like I imagine from trailers before, because I've heard people talk about this game before, like they're building this up well.
Definitely. I think it looks super stunning. I'm excited to just have another developer's take on what difficulty can be and how and what the variables are, because we know the quantities of a Souls-like. We know what sort of make up, this studio is obviously very influenced by From Software and their sort of and their take on what melee combat is. But I just love seeing developers say, all right, well, how can we put our spin on that? Yeah. And it's just always really, really neat to see the different swings that are taken. And not all of them land, but a lot of them recently have been landing. So I'm super excited about this.
And I think one of the things I'm very excited about, like I mentioned before, right? Like more studios out of China, like, you know, taking a swing at AAA gaming and AAA action games. And from what we got out of Black Myth, right? Black Myth Wukong was a super cinematic, super cool looking game, had a lot of cool visuals. The combat, you know, wasn't great, but it was, what was the song? I've already lost it.
I tweeted it, and I want to tell you how depressing it was not to get any good responses from it, because I put it out there, and then everybody's actually answering the question: is Black Myth Wukong combat bad? No, it's just not okay. It's just not. It's not great.
Yeah. But that being said, Black Myth Wukong,
40 responses, and I haven't seen one that's the right.
Brought so much cool to the table, and it wasn't just like the From Software influence, right? It was the God of War influence. It was them taking influence from a lot of cinematic action games. Watching this trailer, it looks like this game is doing a lot of similar things in terms of, hey, yeah, we're taking in probably some of that From Software stuff, right? But it just looks like a cool action game visually, and I'm very excited to see like more AAA studios in different countries taking a swing at that.
Me too. I want more just character action stuff. You know what I mean? I see this and there's so much that's cool, but I'm like, I don't want it to be a Souls-like. We have so many Souls-like. Just give me a Devil May Cry. Give me a Bayonetta that looks like that. You know? That looks cool. I want the elemental stuff, but I just want it to be a little bit more strategic button mashy. You know what I'm talking about?
What if you played Sekiro?
Yeah.
And just drank the Kool-Aid and just join us?
That's too
just
much.
Join us.
I was thinking about this recently.
It's too much.
Maybe 9 Souls. A little 2D version of that for you.
What I was thinking recently is that Tim should play Liza P. I feel like Liza P might actually be the gateway drug for Tim. Because like I think it's a bit more approachable. It's cool, has a cool world. I assume Tim likes Pinocchio.
I'm okay with him. You know what I mean? I'm definitely bigger into Wizard of Oz.
You parry everything, you break their weapons. It feels so good, Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like a gun arm.
Yeah.
Or a lot of things you can do with the arm.
Grapple arm.
Next up, we had FBC Firebreak to end the show. It's 2025. Remedy's 3-player co-op game. Xbox says you'll take on the roles of fearless first responders in the Federal Bureau of Control, sent to fend off paranatural threats in the dark heart of its shifting Eldritch headquarters, the oldest house. This might have the shape of other PvE multiplayer shooters, but even from the first trailer, you can tell there's a distinct Remedy touch to the enemy's environments and especially equipment. Let me stop there. Does it?
No, like, I mean, what I said while we were watching it, it looks like they put a control skin on Warhammer Darktide. I think if it were third person and you were, you're floating here though. That's good. I missed the floating part right there. But yeah, it looks like Rainbow Six Extraction as well a little bit. I guess what I'm looking at this as is like, what made Control so special for me was the superpowers that Jesse Faden had, and you having this federal control or this service weapon that transformed, and now it was like you would charge it to do a long shot, then you would switch it to just be a faster pistol. Like all that stuff made it so special to me, and this feels like a bit of a more generic version of what made that game so special.
Yeah, they're doing a lot. I put a lot of stuff in there for you. They're doing a lot of heavy lifting right now. I think understandably, not like damage control, but they know they show this. There's gonna be a lot of questions, and so there's a lot going on the Xbox interview page over there right now, right, where they have Thomas from Remedy, of course, friend of the show, in there, right?
Your hair looks good, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I almost
Fantastic.
in the beginning of the reaction stream when I got introduced, I did the mic joke, but the other joke was gonna be, hey, can somebody compliment my hair because it felt really good today.
Great, yeah.
Anyways, Remedy over there was saying FBC Firebreak should be easy to get into and quickly understandable, but not feel like a second job or that you have to spend an hour setting up your loadouts, etc. before you get into a session. This is not that game. It's a pick up and play experience about having fun with your friends when you have the time. That's not to say that FBC Firebreak doesn't have deep player progression and things to unlock. It does, but this isn't about logging in every day for some loot or fear of missing out on materials. I would not describe it as a games as a service, but yes, post-launch, we will be releasing a steady supply of new content for players to get excited about, keep the game fresh, engage the community, and give a reason to come back. And they say, of course, Firebreak does take place after the events of Control, and it's offering a new way of delivering stories from that world, stories that will keep being told after launch. You don't need to have played Control to understand what's going on, but if you have, there's going to be a lot for you. And again, this is the longest post I saw over on the Xbox Wire coverage of them really drilling into what this game and how it is. And for me...
The devs are learning, Greg. They're learning after Outriders. You set the expectations of, it's not a games as a service.
We're just gonna have updates.
Player count, don't even worry about it. Yeah. So like that makes the game feel like it may have longer legs because you don't have to worry about that, Greg.
100%. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. As a big Remedy fan, as a big Control fan, I'll jump in to try it, but I don't look at that and go, I got to be playing that. Yeah.
Are you concerned about that with the level of quality Remedy's had over the last couple of years and this Remedyverse becoming such a important staple in video games? Like, is there concern of them trying something that's a little bit out of that wheelhouse and like, maybe it's amazing, but looking at this kind of seems like it might not be to the level that we expect from them. Are you concerned about that at all, Bless?
I'm on a wait and see, mainly because I think when you talk about a Remedyverse, I think this is just one of the symptoms of things that might need to happen. Like when we talk about the MCU, for example, right? Like I think one of the things that people like about it, MCU, at least in theory, is that you can have different genres in it and you can have different approaches to different kinds of movies. Like Winter Soldier is going to be a fucking spy espionage like action type film, right? Whereas you can have a Doctor Strange that feels like it's leaning more into horror, right? And like overall, people can talk about how things might still feel samey within that. But I think a dream when you are building a universe that is going to be that wide is being able to tackle different genres and different ideas within that universe. When we talk about the Remedyverse, I think Remedy might be at the point where any game they make, people are going to have the expectation that is connected to the Remedyverse because that's the studio. You're literally called Remedy. So anything you make, it's like, all right, how does this fit into Alan Wake? Or how does this fit into Control? How does this fit into the universe? So I think they might be in a place where, all right, we want to make a multiplayer thing. We want to make this co-op game. How do we make it as part of the universe? My main thing is this game going to be enhanced by taking place in the Control universe? Like, is it going to be enhanced by being placed within the Federal Bureau of Control? I can see that being the case. I think the FBC is a cool location. That was the best part of Control is exploring and seeing all the weird shit that went down and that people couldn't take pencils in there because the pencil would go crazy and start killing people.
Yeah,
right? Like, for me, that is the cool shit about the FBC. And so when you tell me that you're going to make a multiplayer shooter in there, I think I have these level of expectations that are, all right, cool. Let's see how that uplifts. If you're going to do a three-player co-op type shooter, let's see how that uplifts the experience. The thing I think I wish I would have seen from the trailer that probably we won't see from the final game is like those kind of things, right? Like what are the objects called? Objects of power. Like, are there objects of power that come into play here?
Ultimate.
I mean, you figure there will be, but I mean, how much does any of that fit into the overall narrative, right? I think you're in an interesting place with this one where if you're Remedy that you make story games, that you make single player games, that's what people like me love you for, and that I might touch this but not dive deep into it. So then this sounds, and even with the way they're pitching it, right, of being like, this isn't meant to take over your life, jump in, have fun. That's all well and good, but so then it is just like, as we saw there, the rock quarry, there's a mission there that goes wrong, so you're just in there blasting a bunch of people, and it's like, you have to put Easter egg teasers in there. There have to be something in there that's referencing back to Jesse, referencing back to Alan Wake in a fun way, but is it ever going to be a meaningful way? And does it need to be? And what is this? And what are the expectations?
Because I almost, Bear, can you bring up where the gnome is in the trailer? Because I want to see, how they use that gnome. Because my thing is almost like, man, I think I could see an extraction shooter working in like the Alan Wake 2 universe, where it is you're going into the dark place and having to extract people out of the dark place.
Let me read you some stuff here, okay? Yeah. Remedy isn't offering too much detail on exactly what's going on, but the trailer shows some blah, blah, blah. This is, Thomas again. What I can say is that the Firebreak crew has been cleared to carry paranatural augments, which are altered items engineered into tool attachments, like the garden gnome you saw in the trailer. These are more or less our take on ultimates and are not to be taken lightly. I like to think of them as a jaguar in a box, laughs. You carry the box pointed at something, you open the box, and you just kind of hope the jaguar doesn't turn around and eat you or your friends instead. You are bringing in the craziness of what the Federal Bureau of Control deals with.
And I just want those elements to uplift what the three-player co-op experience is. If they're able to do that, then I'm happy with it. Because I do think you also want these games to help fund like the overall catalog of games that you're making, right? Like if they're able to do this, I know they said it's not a games as a service, but let's say if you have 2 DLC expansions that happen over time and you're able to like get a player base in that is passionate, that loves it, cool. You can take that money, work on the next Control, work on the next Alan Wake game.
Yeah, and I think that's largely what the purpose of this probably is. Like, I'm not worried about it, Tim, because in the same way that I don't think the core 3D platformer Mario team is working on the next sports game, you know? Like, I feel like these are... pre-production is heavy, has started, I think, a couple of months ago already on Control 2. And I feel like that team is probably going to be deep into that already. Yeah. I don't really know what team is working on this. But it doesn't worry me. It does feel like it could possibly kind of cheapen what makes that world special. But I don't know. For me, it's so easy to be cynical, and it's so easy to have this sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't like outlook on whatever this game is, because you look at it and it's like you read Greg read that press statement of, hey, don't worry, this doesn't need a game. This isn't a game you need to be grinding dailies and getting your battle pass and all that stuff. It's just a hop in whatever. And you go, oh, great. And then on the flip side, you go, okay, well, then why should I care? Mm-hmm. And I think largely they looked at what their catalog is and they said, hey, we have a lot of assets and worlds from Control that we can maybe put to use. What sort of fun could we experiment with? And if they see this as being fun enough to hop in with friends and, have a good sort of shooty time, I trust them. I trust them and their sort of barometer for what is good quality,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just hate the look of it. I hate the Firebreak logo and the...
That's my thing is, out of the whole trailer, I think that was the thing that I was like, really? Like, does every multiplayer shooter have to have this design style?
Looks like Rage.
It's like punk. Rage.
Yeah, Frag Punk.
Someone brought up Gotham City Imposters earlier, and it's like,
dude, that was my FBC look at
imposters.
it. Yeah.
Well, everybody.
Tim's been smiling because he's been slacking Greg.
I just called Greg a bitch on slacking it. Like, I just felt like I had to do it.
I'm getting kicked around today.
It brought me a lot of joy.
All I do is come back to share happiness with these people. I got Janina hanging up on me. I got a dog wandering around the office. Getting called a bitch.
It's a whole thing, everybody. We're about to do Kind of Funny Games Daily. It will be Gary Whitta and Greg Miller breaking down all of today's biggest video game news. And then after that, we're going to be returning to the world of Alien Isolation. So fun day. If you're watching on Twitch, you can stay exactly where you are. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to have to make the jump over to the other YouTube video. Either way, we appreciate you all so very much. Until next time, I love you all. Goodbye.